Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Alisa and this is Alisa's Loves, and I have a fun video for you guys today. As you saw in the title, I have 11 movies to share with you that I think are enjoyable to watch, and especially enjoyable to watch around Halloween time. I love Halloween. It's one of my favorite holidays. We enjoy scary movies year round, but tend to watch a little bit more for October, and so that kind of got me thinking, with Halloween just around the corner, what would be some movies to kind of recommend to watch on Halloween. So I have 11 movies. They're all kind of quite the variety because not everybody out there enjoys scary horror type movies. Before I do that, I did want to thank all of you for the well wishes and the nice comments regarding my injury. I am doing better. I'm currently in a boot and getting around a little bit more, but I'm still needing crutches and a scooter, and I'm slowly but surely getting better. So I'm glad I'm able to make some content. I'm not quite going to be back to normal per se, but you know, I'm getting there. It's definitely a very slow recovery. But yeah, I started physical therapy and that's already helping. So anyways, I'm just kind of updating you guys on that. Again, I appreciate all of your patience. Once again, everything's still not quite back to normal, but I'm getting there. Okay, so before I share with you the movies, I did kind of group them into two different categories. So I have a few that to me are scary movies, and then there are a few that are more on the family friendly, or in my opinion not really scary, but I think they can be fun to watch around this time of year, whether it's because of the characters or the theme. I find them to be enjoyable and thought that it'd be fun to share with you guys. So let's get started. So I have 6 that are, in my opinion, not really scary movies, and 3 are more on the family-friendly side. So I'm going to start with those. So first up is Hotel Transylvania. This is a really fun animated movie that has some of our classic monsters in it, like Count Dracula. It's got a werewolf. It has mummies and skeletons, a lot of those classic traditional monsters that we're used to. And it's kind of got a fun take where all the monsters are scared of humans, and they've been living kind of away from humans for many, many years, and then this boy ends up finding them and happens upon them, and Count Dracula's daughter kind of starts to have an interest in him. But it's so cute and it's so funny, and we just enjoy it. Dracula's played, Adam Sandler is the voice of Dracula, and I think he does an awesome job. And I do have it in 3D with this fun lenticular slipcover, which I think is really fun. There's also Hotel Transylvania 2 and 3. I haven't seen those ones. I do eventually want to own them, but this is really enjoyable, and we like to watch it around Halloween. Again, could watch it any time of the year. Okay, next one is one that I remember watching when I was a little girl. You'll kind of see that a lot of these I've watched when I was younger, and again, that's kind of why they're some of my favorites and why I've seen them several times. But it is Casper. This has Christina Ricci, Devon Sawa, Bill Pullman. I loved this movie when I was little. I saw it so many times. I used to watch the animated cartoon of Casper the Friendly Ghost, and then this one came out. And it's just silly fun. Pretty much Bill Pullman's like a ghost hunter, or somebody who can speak to ghosts, like a medium, and him and his daughter end up moving into this like huge mansion where Casper and some other ghosts live, and they're there because the real estate agent's wanting to sell this home, and nobody wants to live in it because it's haunted. So Bill Pullman and his daughter go there. I can't remember the names of their characters, but he's a ghost therapist. That's his official name on here. and they end up meeting Casper and the other ghosts, and some silly things happen, but it's really cute. My 7-year-old really enjoyed this one. So I'd say probably around that age. You can watch it first to see because of the ghost kind of, but my 7-year-old really enjoyed it, and I still really like this one to this day. The next one that's kind of on that family friendly side is another one that I loved when I was younger. I've seen it many times, and that is Hocus Pocus. So this is Disney's Hocus Pocus. These three witches, Bette Midler is awesome in this. Sarah Jessica Parker is awesome. I can't remember the name of the other witch here, but they were witches who pretty much got a spell put on them, and they went away for many years. And then in the modern times, whenever this movie came out, I think it was in the 90s, when this movie came out, someone happens upon the spell and ends up breaking the spell, and the three witches return, but they're in this new generation, and it is around Halloween. I believe it happens on Halloween night, and they're not good witches, so things happen, but it's just silly fun. I love this. It is rated PG. It does say for some scary sequences and for language, so I haven't actually shown this one with my boys yet, but I know once they're a little bit older, I can watch it with them. I do have the I think it was the 25th anniversary Target exclusive that came with a digibook, so I love this version of it, but that's a fun one. Next three are, I don't really find scary, but I wouldn't consider them family friendly. There's something about them that just kind of, I think, is fun to kind of rewatch around Halloween. So the first one is The Craft. Again, I watched this, I think, in high school when it came out, 1996. So yes, I eventually watched it in high school. I probably didn't watch it when it first came out because it's rated R, but I eventually watched it when I was in high school. And it's about these 4 girls that are in high school, and they practice witchcraft, and they end up getting pretty good at it, and they're able to cast some spells. We kind of see the consequences of the spells, and also what ends up happening in the dynamics of those 4 girls. Towards the end of the movie, there are some kind of creepy parts. I think I remember when I first watched it, I was probably a little bit scared, but as I got older, I don't think it's that scary. But I think it's so much fun. I really like this one. So if you're kind of into that witch spells type movie with some drama in there, I think this is a fun one. This is the Scream Factory version. So I love this artwork that they did for the slipcover, and then when you take it out, it does have the alternate artwork for the front. And what's cool about Scream Factory is you can reverse it and change it if you wanted to, but I like having the original Blu-ray cover there. I just watched this last week and it was so much fun, so I enjoyed that one. The next one is not scary to me whatsoever. It's actually, in my opinion, more of a really good love story, and that is Practical Magic with Sandra Bullock and Nicole Kidman. This one came out in 1998. Again, I would have eventually watched it in high school. It's rated PG-13, and these two are sisters, and they are witches. They're kind of grew up in a long generation of witches, and so they end up being raised by their 2 aunts, and as they get older, we discover that Sandra Bullock's character is she's kind of a more practical person, and she doesn't really want to practice being, she doesn't want to do spells, she doesn't want to be a witch, she just wants to fit in and be normal. She also, their whole line of women, there ends up being a curse on anyone that they love, or supposedly there's a curse on anybody that they fall in love with. So she kind of doesn't ever want to fall in love, whereas Nicole Kidman's character is kind of the complete opposite. She's very free spirit and, you know, kind of embodies the whole being a witch. And then she wants to love everyone. I mean, she just falls in love left and right, but she's not always falling in love with the right guys. And as they get older, things happen, so they each end up meeting people, and we see what happens when Nicole Kidman's character falls in love with kind of the wrong guy. He ends up being a bad guy, and things happen, and they end up casting a spell, but it's kind of a bad spell that their aunts say not to do, but they do it. And then we see kind of the consequences of what unravels after doing that. But there's kind of like a possession going on, and there's some ghost type stuff, but for the most part, it's a lot about falling in love and finding your true love. And this is probably one of my favorite love stories of all time. Like, I just love this movie so much. I also think it has such an amazing soundtrack. So if you've seen this movie, my favorite scene is when they do midnight margaritas and they're all dancing in the kitchen, and that song, you put the lime in the coconut and drink it all. That song plays, and I just love it. I love it. It always makes me want to dance. Back in the day when we would burn CDs, I remember burning a CD that had that song on it. Plus there's a really good Stevie Nicks song on the soundtrack that I absolutely loved, and I would listen to it all the time, and I burned that on a CD. Anyways, this brings back a lot of memories for me because I watched it so much. This is my old DVD version that I've had for years, since whenever. I'll probably never get rid of it. I don't know if this has a Blu-ray, if it's come out on Blu-ray or not. If you know, let me know, but gosh, I've owned this forever, but I just love this one. It does have one scene at the very end where it is Halloween. But mainly it's just the witches, like, and I love that. I think I find movies that have to do with witches fun, so, and enjoyable. I'm very interested in those. So anyways, this is a fun one, more on that love story type with a little bit of magic thrown in, if that sounds interesting to you. Okay, and then the last one, I would say probably when I first watched this, it probably scared me a little bit because I was a lot younger. As an adult watching it, I don't find it scary, but I still very much enjoy it, and I just got the new 4K version of it. I had it on DVD, but I upgraded it to 4K, and that is Gremlins. I mean, who cannot love Gizmo? Like, who doesn't love Gizmo? He's so stinking cute. And I had to get this 4K with the slipcover because I love this. This could also be a Christmas movie because it actually takes place during Christmas. This one did, like I said, kind of scare me when I first watched it because I was younger. But since then, I don't really find it scary. But I remember those Gremlins being super creepy and did kind of creep me out. But I just love this movie. It's kind of, to me, like an old classic one. So I love Gremlins. Okay, so those were the 6 that I think are kind of not really scary, but I still think are enjoyable to watch around this time or really any time of the year. The next 5 are the ones that I consider to be scary, horror, thriller, suspenseful, something that just to me is scary and like I enjoy watching, especially around this time of year. Before I share these, I just wanted to preface with the fact that what scares me may not necessarily scare you. I think we all can be scared by different things, so it's very subjective. I get more scared with the paranormal type movies, the supernatural, the ghosts. Those tend to creep me out more and really scare me, versus movies that are super gory and just, I guess what I should say is the ones that they can be scary but I just don't like, tend to be ones where people are just killing people or mutilating people for really no reason at all. So for example, The Strangers. I think The Strangers is a super scary movie, and there's probably a ton of people out there that love that one because of how scary it is. And I agree, it is scary, and it did scare me when I watched it, but I hated it. And I don't see me ever rewatching that one. The scary movies that I enjoy, I like to be scared for sure, But when it's all said and done, I thought it was enjoyable and fun to go through that experience. Now, with all that said, I still enjoy some slashers, like Halloween, the classic Halloween, I very much like. And then I also like Saw. I saw that when it came out when I was in college, and I've only seen the first one, I believe, but I haven't rewatched it since. I need to see it again. But I think I liked that one because, so obviously messed up things happen to people in that movie, but there's like a puzzly aspect to it, and there's kind of a twist, so I think there's more of a storyline than just all out like mass murder, if that makes any sense. So I'm just kind of letting you guys know where my recommendations are coming from. Enough with my rambling. Let's go on. So the first one is the one that I've only seen once, and it's actually the newest one out of the ones I'm sharing with you guys. It just came out last year, and that is Hereditary. Oh man, this scared me so much. It probably, after watching it, became like top 5 favorite scary movies of all time for me. I know I've heard like love and hate thing, you know, some people love it, some people hate it. My really good friend absolutely did not like this at all. My husband and I very much enjoyed it. I think I liked it more than him. There's a lot that happens at the end of this movie, and you kind of just, it's like, wait, what? And then when you're all said and done, it's like, what did I just watch? But my husband and I were able to kind of talk about it, and we both kind of noticed things throughout the movie that in the end we're kind of piecing it all together, and I think that's why for me at least some of it made more sense, because we kind of talked it over. I definitely want to rewatch it because now that I know what happens in the end, we might be able to find some of those little clues that the breadcrumbs that were spread, you know, kind of told throughout the story. So this is definitely a paranormal type movie with ghosts. Now, I can't say a whole lot because I don't want to spoil anything. I just think if you're into paranormal stuff and you like to be scared and things kind of, I just think it's worth a watch. The ending was probably my favorite part because that's when it got really creepy and really scary, and then you were like, wait, what? And I was just like, ah! Anyways, I loved it. I know that wasn't probably very helpful, but I loved this one. I will definitely be rewatching it. Okay, the next one's again one that I watched, I'm pretty sure in high school. And this is more of like an adventure thriller. It definitely scares me, but it scares me for a couple different reasons. So this is called The River Wild, and it has Meryl Streep and Kevin Bacon in it. And this movie, there's a family who decides to take a trip whitewater rafting, and Meryl Streep plays a river guide, so she's used to doing that. And so they're out camping, they're going whitewater rafting, and then they end up running into some guys who, as the story unfolds, they end up being I believe escaped prison. And so they are not good men. Kevin Bacon is one of those guys. It's scary because they have to go down these very large, big rapids, and I mean, those alone can be terrifying. Plus, the men that they run into get introduced, and then we slowly see what they're like. It's a very terrifying experience, or I couldn't imagine what it would be like to be in this family's situation. I don't really hear a whole lot about this one, but I do really like it. It's PG-13. We liked whitewater raft and we love the outdoors, so I think it's just, again, it's kind of one of those if that was to happen to you, that would be really scary and horrifying. So I enjoy this one. The next one is one of my favorites, and it came out in the 90s, early 90s, and I think I was too young to watch it when it first came out. It is rated R, but by the time I was in high school, I believe I watched it, and that is Scream. Oh my god, I love Scream so much. I think a lot of people have heard of this movie. If you haven't seen it, I just highly recommend it. I mean, this is a slasher that I just love. It's got Courtney Cox, David Arquette, Neve Campbell. I mean, Neve Campbell was also in The Craft. Skeet Ulrich, or Ulrich, I can't remember exactly how you pronounce it, which I feel like I don't know what happened to him, because I remember him being in a couple movies when I was in high school, and then I've not seen him in anything since. He's also actually in The Craft. So Skeet and Neve Campbell are both in both of these movies. This is just, to me, one of those classics, and I absolutely love it. I was able to see Scream 2, I believe, in theaters, which was awesome. I've watched all Screams. I only own this one. I need them all, but I've seen all 4, and I just love them. So Scream is a fun one, just like an old classic to watch every year. And this is my old DVD that I've had. Oh, you know, can't forget Drew Barrymore. She's in it. You know. But this is my old DVD. I have had this for years. I would like to get the collector's set of like all of them though on Blu-ray. And then the last 2 I would say are my all-time favorite scary movies. So I will save my all-time favorite for the very last, but this is my second favorite, and that is The Descent. Oh, I saw this in college. I remember going into it not really knowing anything about it, and oh my goodness. These last 2 are the ones I've seen the most out of all my scary movies as well. I mean, I've rewatched them so many times. If you haven't heard of this movie, it is a group of women love to dive into caves, and they just like to explore caves. What's creepy about this one is there's enough creepy stuff just being deep down into a cave. Like, stuff happens to them just from natural like causes. So that in itself is already creepy and scary. Then as they're down there, they're starting to discover that they might not be alone. That's kind of all I'm gonna say. And oh, it's so creepy. I love this one. I love this one. So again, I have it on DVD with a slipcover. This is the unrated version. So it did come with some artwork, and then this has a bonus disc with bonus features. This is another one I'd love to upgrade to Blu-ray, but for now I have it on my DVD that I've owned for a really long time. And the last one, my all-time favorite scary movie that I've seen so many times, I think is super fun to watch and rewatch around Halloween, is The Ring. This is a 2-pack, so it has The Ring and The Ring 2. I actually just picked this up on Amazon because I could not find, we moved into our home like a year and a half ago, and I can't find the Ring DVD that I originally had. It's driving me nuts, and I need to have a copy of this. So I picked this one up on Amazon for a decent price with the 2-pack. I'm only going to be talking about The Ring because The Ring 2, it's okay. But the first one, oh my god, I love it. It has Naomi Watts. Again, I saw this in the movie theaters when it came out when I was in college, and this scared me so much. This is one of those movies where several days later I was still thinking about it. I remember my friend and I just like running into the house that we lived in at the time, because we both went and saw it together, and we had to like do everything to, like, we ran in, had to hurry, get into bed. Like, we were so freaked out. So freaked. I'll never forget it. Like, but at the same time it was so fun. This is based on a Japan movie called Ringu. I have not seen that, but Arrow Video just came out with the box set of all the Japan Ring movies. So I did just order that, so I will be watching them all. I'm really excited about that. Pretty much the premise is there's a VHS tape, and when it gets played and you watch it right after it gets done, and it's like weird creepy images on the tape, and when it gets done the phone rings and you answer it and it says 7 days. And so pretty much in 7 days you're gonna die. Naomi Watts ends up kind of being a detective and figuring out what is going on, like what are those images within the VHS tape, and she does some research, and we slowly start to discover what was going on and why there's this curse. What I think I love so much about this movie is just the very, very end, like the last few seconds of the video. And I don't want to tell you, but that's, if you've seen it, that's like my favorite part. It's just the very end, and then the movie's over. Anyways, I just love this one. I still get freaked out by this. I don't think I could ever watch it alone. I think this is a fun watch. I think it's super creepy and scary, and I love it. So those are some scary movies and not so scary movies that you might want to try out around Halloween time. Let me know in the comments what are some movies you enjoy watching around Halloween. Scary or not scary, it doesn't matter. I think it's always fun to get recommendations, and other people probably wouldn't mind getting some recommendations. So let's share what our thoughts on what we enjoy watching. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm going to be having a horror movie haul on the day of Halloween that I will be showing you guys, or I hope to put it out on Halloween, because I've gotten quite a few scary movies that I wanted to share with you guys. So be on the lookout for that, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye!